You may remember in my last video I said that I would like to go in that building. Well, today is that day. We've been invited down for a full tour around Bradford City Hall. So we're going to start our tour in here. This used to be where you would come and pay your rates and council tax and things like that. Anything to do with money in the council was right here. But today it's more of an advice centre now. Now, you know me, I can't go anywhere without featuring a toilet. So let's take a look in this, and I'm told these are very Victorian looking. So let's go into the gents' toilet. Oh wow, that is Victorian looking. Even more so than Hull City Hall that I did. The old tile work on here, and the hand basins. Say hello. Yeah, this is so retro. You've got the old wooden cubicles, again, like they had at Hull City Hall. Now, I don't know why, but every town hall that I come into, I always end up in a toilet. This one, Hull, and also Morley, when we did Morley Town Hall. Ended up looking at the Queen's toilet, if you remember that. Just as we head out into the first sort of corridor, we've come across this section here, a little void in the middle of City Hall. And as you can see, this section is all white tiles on the walls. Well, this was an extension added on later in its life, and I'll put the dates in down below. But the left-hand side of the City Hall is the original part. This whole section was added on many years later. And all these huge stone archways that you would expect to see in a City Hall, and even the lift has stonework around it, look. So here we are in a central sort of staircase in the middle of the building, but it's a good example for you to see all the way up. And I believe there's 6 floors in here, I think. Check out the stained glass windows all the way up. So we're now on the first floor, and this is what is known as the committee floor, hence all the committee rooms that they've got all the way down here. And then we reach this little central atrium here, look. Now, this wall is the divider of where the old building meets the new building. And if we look into this little atrium here, you can see down there, on the left is the old building, and then on the right is the white tiled new building. And this street down here, which is now nothing more than an alleyway in between the buildings, is Chapel Lane, which was the original road that used to run behind City Hall on the left here. And it's still there today. We've reached another central staircase, but we're in the old building now. And as you can see on here, it is a spiral staircase and some beautiful tile work on the walls. You can see in here how the architecture changes from the newer building next door through them doors. And just using this picture here, we can actually see the original City Hall or Town Hall as it was then in this block here, and then the newer extension is all over here now. And there is Chapel Street, right in the middle. So we're going to make our way down through the centre of the Town Hall or the City Hall. And I'm told there's a surprise at the end of here, something quite marvellous. Oh wow, just look at that. Now this is the kind of thing I was waiting to see. A grand foyer or grand entrance into City Hall. Now that is something spectacular. All marble and stone, just like when we did the Hull City Hall as well. And look at the floor. And massive stone staircases. I do love how they always have these lamps inside as well. So if you come in through the main town hall steps, I'll just show you through the window here. So out there is the town hall steps as you come up from Centenary Square, as it is now. And then you are greeted straight away with this site in front of you. So let's have a little bit more of an explore around here. Now just check out the dome right there. Now if you stand outside City Hall, you would never know that this was here. I've just been told as well, apparently in its early years, this was all open plan. None of this was here at all. And it used to be a big hallway or a big atrium, shall we say, and you'd come in and all the council clerks and things would be around the outside, and then the Lord Mayor's offices were all down here, but they're not today. However, we will have a look at those a bit later. And then underneath this grand staircase, with its ornate stonework and marble, guess what these are? These little cupboards here. Well, yes, the Victorians were very forward-thinking. They're cleaners' cupboards. So even now, they got that in there. So like I said, this is the entrance down to Centenary Square. Well, I've got to say, this is my favourite part so far. It is absolutely beautiful, especially with that dome there. You know I love a good dome on a roof. Yeah, I can't wait to see more of this building. And I've always wanted to come through this door, up those stairs and inside and see what's in here. Like I said, I lived in Bradford for 37 years or something, and I never set foot in here. Well, today I have. Right, so just headed up the stairs. So again, you can see the main entrance there down into Centenary Square as it was, or is. And then we're on that balcony level now. And just spotted there, the Lord Mayor's rooms are now on this level. Like I said, they used to be down here. And then check this out, right at the top. And up at that dome again. And let's do my signature dome spin that I always do when we get a dome in the video. We've got some really nice little display pieces up here. So this is to mark 25 years membership of the City Council. And then over here, a fantastic model of City Hall. Just check that out. So this is the section that I was talking about that you'll see, the steps here from Centenary Square. And if you head through that entrance there, that brings you out at them doors just behind me. And then another example here to show you where City Hall changed or got extended later on. So I'm guessing it was right here on this join. It's also a good chance for you to see all the former monarchs that are on the front of the town hall outside. You can't see them very well from the street level, but if you look on here, they are on each pillar going round and all the way across here, including a controversial Oliver Cromwell somewhere on this front section here. And then this wonderful looking medieval corridor with all the cases just heading off the main atrium there. One more room just off the baronial looking corridor is the Savile room. Now this again used to be an old courtroom. Again, it has separate doors, so you would have brought in the visitors or the public in these doors here, or the jury. I'm not sure exactly which. So they all have separate staircases at the back and separate access and entrances. So the public would have come straight in off the street, the jury would have come from a jury room, and then the defendant would have been from the cells, which would have been somewhere underneath, and so on and so forth. Yeah, it was all thought about. And here's the jury room just behind it. So like I said, that door on the left there is the door they would have used to access the courtroom, and they would have come in from here. We're in another staircase at the back of City Hall, and you can see St George's Hall just through there. And yeah, this is apparently not used that much these days. It's more of a back staircase, sort of a auxiliary stairs, shall we say. And we've got another nice little roundel here, down the medieval corridor, as I called it, with a little, I don't think that goes outside, that's the light inside there, but nonetheless, I do love these baronial looking corridors with the wood panelling and the large paintings. So we're going to head through a secret doorway or a hidden doorway. Well, it's not today, but it used to be. Very indiscreet anyway. We head through it. It now takes us up to the old public gallery. I can spot some toilets down there and some toilets there as well. The temptation's getting to me. We need to visit the toilets. Another old Victorian toilet here. Check that out. Again, wooden stalls. I love that. The old massive urinals. And we've reached the top of that roundel that I showed you in the medieval looking corridor. And I was right, it's not outside. and there is a strip light there above it. So we're now on level 2. We've just gone back down. So we're back in the central atrium, or the entrance atrium, and just a bit of interesting information. So right above us here, or above this roof, is the clock tower, the famous clock tower that you'll see, which is also underneath the Lord Mayor's rooms. And if you just look at the thickness on these pillars here, on this side as well, they're all really thick walls apparently, and that's because they're supporting the weight of the clock tower, which is 200 feet above us. And same on this side, look. These walls have got to be 4 feet thick, maybe more. Solid stone. Yeah, very big walls, and a bit thinner on these ones here. If you've ever wondered where they keep the flags that are displayed above City Hall, well, it's in this cupboard right here. You can see you've got Australia, Austria, American, Italy, Latvia, Macedonia, Sweden, China, Bulgaria. You get the idea. Even Jersey has got one up there. So yeah, they keep them all in here, probably along with the Yorkshire flag that I can see just there. Okay, we're now going to head into the law courts, or the old law courts. And this has been used in many TV shows, Peaky Blinders. I remember it in Coronation Street. So let's head inside. Apparently this is the most famous one in here. You can see it's still got the benches and everything. And as it was, like I said, it is now more used for TV and film. I do like the colours in here. It's more like Leeds colours, those. Blue and yellow. And then where the judge would sit there. And then you've got the public gallery at the back there. Yeah, let's take a wander round. I do like this room. So apparently it was used in Peaky Blinders. I do remember it in Coronation Street a few times, and even Emmerdale, and also a few old programmes like Victoria and a few Netflix dramas. So yeah, we're now in the public gallery at the top, or the viewing gallery as it would have been known. And then there we go. Here's the old courtroom, or the old law courts, before they moved them to where the old exchange station was, that new building that I did a video on. That's now the new law courts. This was where it was in the early 90s and before. Well, apparently before it was here, it was where Sunbridge Wells is. So if you watched my Sunbridge Wells video, if you didn't, go check it out. But when we went into the tunnels just across Centenary Square, they used to be the old cells in the old courts many, many years ago. And that was where it was originally, before it ended up here, and now in the new building across where the old exchange station was. Now, I can honestly say I've never been in a courtroom before, which is a good thing. I'm not knocking that, but I'm also in the dock right now. So this is where you would sit if you were on trial. Not a very nice prospect to be sat here, especially when you've got the juries either side there and the judge directly where you are. Wow. All rise. Yeah, there's me in the dock, charged with crimes to YouTube, making dodgy videos, dodgy editing. If I just flip you around, so that's where I was just sat. So obviously you can see we're in the dock and the judge and the jury is looking over you there. And this is where, as you see it in the movies, they come up the stairs at the back, or they get led away down to the cells, which are down there. And they do form part of the police museum, which is actually a museum in Bradford, and you can visit it. And they'll take you down in the cells and things down there. So they would have brought them up here. So yes, the jury would have been in these sections up here and behind me as well. Wow, it is a traditional courtroom, as you would expect. So let's try one of my photo fades in here, which I've never done with a soap star before, but I'm going to fade in the famous trial of Tracy Barlow in Coronation Street in this very room. And in the back you can see Peter Barlow, Ken and Deirdre, and good old Blanche. She was the best thing in Coronation Street. Yes, I used to watch Coronation Street. And then back out to today and an empty law courts. Like I said, just emphasises my point that it was used in a lot of TV shows. And then just one more for effect, taken from here. And you can see they've built a fake witness box right in the middle there. We've got the rounded one, but not the square one that they're using in the soap. And then back out to today. No more TV cameras, and no more Tracy Barlow. So we just headed out the back of the law courts. We're in like another atrium here, which I'll just show you up there. Now, all this area would have been where they housed the defendants and the juries and all the offices and bits and bats to do with the courts. Not today, but it was all to do with the law courts, hence why it's quite pastel coloured and plain. And just behind the law courts again is the jury room. So this is where the jury would have sat in between the trials and, you know, preparing, talking, discussing, deliberating. It overlooks Centenary Square, as you can see right there, and over towards Sunbridge Wells. And I was just saying was the original courtroom over there before this one. And then we're going to head into the judge's chamber now, or the judge's room, which is right on the other side here. So it's a very similar room, just slightly bigger than the jury one. Again, a lovely marble fireplace. And then through this door is where the judge would have headed up here and into the dock, or the judge's throne, as we'll call it. Let's head through these doors. So you've got a door on the right there and a door on the left. So apparently this was the judge's door, that was the jury's door. They both lead onto the same section. We're now up where the judge would have sat. So I have to sit in the judge's throne. You can't say it's a throne and not sit in it, can you? It reminds me of when I went to Buckingham Palace when I was a kid and I sat in the Queen's throne. I shouldn't have been in there, but we got in through work and I managed to sit in it. Well, here I am, sat in the judge's throne. So this is the view that the judge would have got across the courtroom. Now, beyond the judge's room here, just behind this wall, or this door, is the main corridor as you come into City Hall. Now, if you remember when I was in the central atrium down there, I said that the old mayoral, I can never say this word, mayoral chambers were just behind this wall on the first level, and then they moved them upstairs, so where they reside now. These are the original mayoral rooms, and you can tell because of the wood panelling, a bit more grander than the room like next door. Even the judge didn't get that luxury. And yeah, the beautiful windows, the old Gothic windows. Hello. The bigger room next door, which would have been his, the mayor's meeting chamber, or the where he hosts his guests probably, or her guests. And you can see some famous pictures of the Bradford boar up there, carved into the wood. Yeah, some old depictions. And this clock over here is apparently an original Bradford Corporation clock. As you can see, it says there, look, the Bradford Corporation. And I'm told it's from it's about the 1850s, I think he said, maybe even earlier than that. And it still works to this day. Oh, he's making the old ticking noise as well. Yeah, so there's your old clock. And then we just look through this window. Again, we're looking over Centenary Square, and you can just see the entrance area just through them windows there. So those are the town hall steps where you come up and into the big chamber, which is behind this wall here. So there you go. This is the original mayor's chambers, or the mayor's rooms, and now directly above us upstairs, which we'll hopefully look at later on. Now, it's only when you're outside City Hall that you appreciate how magnificent the building is and how big it is as well. And right here on the corner is where old meets new. So you can see the black base there, that's the old building. This is the new extension, probably a couple of years after the original. And right here would have been Chapel Lane, which would have headed from this street here and straight through behind City Hall, but not today, or not for the last 100 years or so. Even outside, some of the amazing doorways and things, a lot of these have been bricked up today, but they would have been used back in the day. And then walking down the front side to look at the amazing clock tower. Now I remember in the 1980s seeing a giant Santa Claus sat on top of that clock tower, and if I remember rightly, it blew down. They had a bit of an issue with it. But that clock tower is 200 feet to the very top, so it's a big one. And apparently it's modelled on the main tower, I forgot the name of it, I'll put it in below, in Florence in Italy, because the whole building is in an Italian style, or a Venetian style I think they called it. And then just up there you can see, if I just zoom in for you, you've got the monarchs on the wall. So you've got Richard III, Edward IV, Henry VI, Henry V, Henry IV, Richard II, yeah, you get the idea. And somewhere up there as well is Oliver Cromwell, and I can't spot him. There you go. I hope you enjoyed the first part looking at Bradford City Hall, and we will be back for another part very soon, because there was a lot of rooms in there that we didn't see because of the elections, and also some areas were closed off today. But we will be back in the next few weeks to bring you another part and show you some more spectacular rooms at Bradford City Hall. Well, thank you very much for joining us in this video. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one next week. Bye for now.